Hi guys, Dr. Mel. We will continue with the mechanics with the chapter on work. Now we're going to work with work, and you'll see you'll have to work hard to get this work done because it's an extremely complex theme in the physics syllabus. Right, let's have a look at the term work. Now, normally people will say, I'm going to work. Work is done. That's the everyday definition. But when we have a look at the scientific definition, it's quite important that you have a look at the equation that we're going to use. Now, the scientific definition of work says it's done on an object. So you know you'll have some or other mass when a force, and there'll be different forces which we'll define just now, acts upon this mass or object and displaces the object. So, in other words, the force will move an object from point A to point B, and that's the definition of work. It is important that you know the direction of the force and the displacement is important. You'll see just now that it's sometimes a different direction and it can be the same direction. So you'll see we'll compensate in our equation for the direction of the force in conjunction with the displacement or the position change. Right. Work is done when a force is not zero. So if the force is zero, no work has been done, or if there's no displacement. So if something, even if you try and push something and it's not moving, you're not doing work per the definition. Energy is necessary, and we often have the synonym as the work you do is measured in joule, you will need energy also measured in joule. And then important, the unit for work as per energy is the joule unit. Right, let's continue with the equation. We calculate the work, abbreviated with a W, with the force and the displacement, which we said just now in the definition. A new concept will come into the grade 12 definition where you actually have to get the angle between the displacement and the work. Now, important, have that definition on your page and then be able to write it down in words because this will be on your information sheet. So just let's have a look. It's the work done, and remember work will be in joule with the force, which will be in Newton, and the displacement, which has to be in meter. Very important that you know the units because you are going to get units that you have to convert first. And then, as I said just now, the angle between the force and the displacement will be signified with the cos theta function. I usually go and I write the equation as follows. W is the force times the displacement, and I write the cos theta in between those two because then I know it's not the cos of the slope, it's not the cos of the perpendicular or the parallel component, it's definitely the cos function between these two quantities. So make sure that you know that. It stays exactly the same as the one that's on your information sheet. It just makes it easier to remember that it's between the force and the displacement. Right, let's have a look at some of these examples that they'll give you. If the force is here, is on a horizontal plane, it pulls this object to that side. And can you now see the displacement will also be to that side? Now, what will the cos theta be if the force is in the same direction as the delta x? Well, then the cos would be 0 degrees. And if you put that into your calculator, you'll find that cos 0 degrees equals a value of 1. So as soon as the force and the displacement is in exactly the same direction, you'll just have to multiply it by 1. On the other hand, we can also apply this to vertical. So we just said if I've got a delta x and I've got a f in the same direction, the cos will be 0 degrees, therefore it's 1. If it's vertical, I'm picking this box up. I've got the force in that direction. I've got the displacement, which is also delta y because it's vertical. The angle is again 0 degrees, and you know the cos 0 will be 1. Let's have a look at another example. Now, you've done this with Newton's laws, so just have a look. If I've got a force being applied at an angle, remember you'll have to see that the displacement is in the horizontal. So it's not the F that will cause the displacement. It's actually the component in the X direction. So again, the Fx times the cos angle times delta x. And can you see we had to get the components of these of this applied force at that angle? And if I use this component x, which is that way, and that delta x, cos will again be 0 degrees, which is a value of 1. Let's have a look. If it's on a slope, remember on a slope you'll have your mg, your gravitational force that side. Remember then you'll have your components parallel and perpendicular. But in this case, we are focusing on the applied force. And if they tell you it went up the slope or down the slope, you know I've got to find that component there, which is going to be in the same direction as the delta x. So again, that component, let's say it's that one there, will be in exactly the same direction as the displacement. So again, cos will be 0 degrees, which is 1. So always have a look at the displacement to indicate to you which force will you be working with. Let's have a look at, again, force and delta x is in the same direction. Angle 0 degrees, which is a value of 1. Again, this side, I'm working in that direction. The F in that direction, the delta x in that direction, the angle between them 0 degrees, therefore cos 0 degrees is equal to 1. Let's have a look at a more real example, because in most of the cases we'll have friction. So what happens here? They indicated to me that you've got delta x that way. So this F is not exactly this arrow there. This would be your applied force. Can you see the friction will be to this side? If the friction is going that way, well, you know it won't be moving. But let's have a look at a real example, because you might find it difficult to interpret. So what I have here, I'm applying that force in that direction to my right. I'm pulling this little car to the right, and then it skids off to the left. Can you see there? So interesting, the force is in that direction, right? But my delta x is in that direction. So the angle will be 180 degrees. And if you put cos 180 into your calculator, you'll find a value of -1. Let's just quickly go back to this one. Remember, you've got a force and you've got a friction. We'll just now have a look at the difference between the net force. Remember when we actually got the sum of those, and what do you do with each of them? But that's easy because we just need to now focus on the cos value. So let's quickly have a look. If they're in the same direction, cos 0, 1. If they're in different the opposite direction, cos 180 -1. So what happens here? I've got this lady sitting on an exercise ball. So the force is exerted parallel to her body downward, which is perpendicular to the ball. And can you see delta x, the movement of this latex ball, is to the sides. So I've got an angle between F and delta x, which is 90 degrees. Now, if you put 90 degrees into your calculator, you'll find a value of 0. And that actually gives you an idea what we said previously. If there's no force in that direction, there's no work done. And this is exactly an explanation for that statement that we're making. Lastly, before we're going to do a few examples, is the fact that you have to know that although we know force is a vector and we know the change in position or displacement is a vector, when we work with the work, which is energy, it's a scalar. So you don't have to indicate when you get an answer in joules, whether it's to the left, to the right. You always just say it's so many joules. So because it's a scalar quantity. Let's go and have a look at a question being asked. Calculate the net work. So remember, I've got the work net, which I have to calculate when a trolley, so there's a mass where a force of 30 Newton is applied to the trolley. The trolley moves 3 meters to the left. So if I have a little trolley there, it's moving 3 meters to the left. You know that's your delta x, and it's being pulled by a force of 30 Newton. But they also tell me there's a force of friction of 5 Newton to the right. So I've got a force there, which is 5 Newton, and you can see I've got the applied force there, which is 30 Newton. So what do they ask of me? To calculate the net work. I'm quickly going to get back to Newton's laws first before we calculate, just for a little revision. Let's identify the horizontal forces. So we had a force that way, which was 30 Newton, and we said that's the applied force. We also had a force that way, which was the friction, and we knew that was 5 Newton. I'll always go back to a free body diagram because it's easy then to identify the forces. If I've got that neatly tucked in, I can actually work out the net force because I know it will then be the 30 minus the 5, which gives me a value of 25 Newton, which you are going to use when you calculate the work. Let's quickly have a look at the vertical forces. You know you had your trolley there. It would have had mass, so I could calculate my gravity, and it would be on a surface, so I would have a normal force there. Interesting, it's not moving in any of these directions. So I don't have a delta X or Y. So therefore, there's no work done in the vertical plane. So let's get the work calculated. The work in the vertical, as we just said, will have no delta X, or you could have said delta Y because it's vertical. Therefore, 0 joules in the vertical. In the horizontal plane, you could work with the work net is equal to the F net times the cos times delta X. We worked out F net. If you go back to this, we said it's 25. So let's conclude with the 25 there. We've got the same direction between the X and the F, therefore cos 0 degrees, and we know it had a displacement of 3. That gives me a value of 75 joule. Can you see? I calculated the horizontal work. I could have done it in the separate components. Let's work out the work of the applied force. Then I only take the applied force times the cos, which we know is 0 degrees, times delta X, which is 3. The applied force was 30 times 1 times 3, which will give me a value of 90 joules that we have. The friction was, let's quickly have a look, 5 newtons, but to the other direction. Right, so we've got the work by the friction, work done by the friction. It's the frictional force times cos theta times delta X. The work is, let's go back, 5 Newton. The cos, guys, you have to remember, this trolley is moving that way. That was the delta x. But the frictional force was to the right. And you can see the angle between those two will be 180 degrees. So this is cos 180 times the 3. Again, the 5 times the 3 gives me a value of 15, but cos 180 degrees is minus 1. Therefore, the frictional force will have a value of 15 joule, but in the negative. And remember what we got when we used the net force. We got an answer of 75 joules. Now see what we can find here. Here we can find we've got 90 joules. So the net force will be the work of the applied plus the work done by the friction. And that would be 90 plus, but we've got a minus 15 there, giving me a value of 75. And that coincides exactly with the answer that we got there. So be very, very alert. What are they asking you? Are they asking you to work out the net work? Or are they asking you to calculate the work by a specific force? In most cases, it's very clear which one you've got to use. Let's quickly just see if you've got this grip on the definition of work. Remember, it's the force and the displacement. And remember, the direction between them is that cos angle. You'll have to be able to calculate the work and then have a very good idea of the different forces that's impacting on that object. I hope you enjoy working with work. Bye-bye.